What's up, folks? I'm Private Hudson, and today we're going to be taking a look at Baku Baku for the Sega Saturn. Baku Baku is a falling block puzzle game developed by Sega and originally released in the arcades in 1995. A year later, it was ported to the Sega Saturn. The premise of the game is that in some faraway kingdom, there lives a princess who can't stop taking in wild animals as pets. Instead of having someone talk some sense into her, the kingdom decides to have a competition for a royal zookeeper. Now, we don't really play these kinds of puzzle games for the story. The background is just there to give some context regarding the blocks, as that is how these types of games differentiate themselves from one another. In Tetris, you form lines, in Dr. Mario, you kill viruses, in Puyo Puyo, you form chains of blobs, and in Baku Baku, you feed animals. Baku Baku is a versus game where you play against either the computer or another player. The goal is to fill up your opponent's screen by matching animal blocks with their corresponding food blocks. Clearing at least 3 blocks or chaining together massive combos attacks the opponent by dropping random blocks on their field, potentially messing up any plans they had to form combos of their own against you. Baku Baku is a simple game to pick up and play, but it is deceptively challenging. I played through the arcade mode on the normal difficulty setting. The first few matches were pretty easy, but the pace picks up quickly. After the second opponent, the blocks begin falling at a significantly faster rate, requiring much faster reaction times to line them up properly. The CPU gets more challenging as well. Once you're near the end, the game gets kind of ridiculous. The CPU can plan and create combos at will, and the game becomes more dependent on luck rather than skill. But I do have to say, those lucky game-winning combos can be extremely satisfying. Even if you lose, it's never frustrating. The matches are short, the game has a cheerful nature, and you have unlimited continues. If you lose, just hit the start button and try again. It took me about 45 minutes to clear through the arcade mode on normal difficulty. There's also a beginner difficulty for newcomers that only consists of the first 3 or 4 stages, and then an even harder expert one. There's quite a bit of replay value, as you can also adjust these settings by further tweaking the CPU AI, changing the victory conditions to become round-based, such as best of 3 or 5, adjust the ratio of animal blocks to food blocks, and also complicate things even further by adding a 5th animal, the mouse. Aside from arcade mode, there's a ranking mode, which is pretty much endless mode. Play for a high score, keep playing until you lose. Lastly, there's the 2-player versus mode. While I don't imagine this being very relevant in 2019, after all, how often do you hear someone suggest for a friend to come over to their place to play some Sega Saturn these days? It is still there, it still works, and is still fun. And if you're playing against a lower skill player, you can handicap yourself by increasing the speed of the blocks in your field to make the match a bit more even or fun. Overall, Baku Baku is an excellent game and is a lot of fun. It still looks great in 2019, especially when using RGB cables and upscaling it through an OSSC. The game is sharp, colorful, and runs at a flawless 60 frames per second, even when the speed and action pick up. Now, you may think that there isn't all that much going on, so 60 frames per second is kind of to be expected. But I've played other falling block puzzle games on other 32-bit consoles, which had a lot less stuff going on the screen than this one, but suffered from slowdown. Regarding the price, I was able to snag a complete in-box copy last year for about $15. It seems as though the price has at least doubled, as the current eBay prices have it going for around $30 to $40, which still isn't all that bad considering it is a Saturn exclusive. Picking up a Japanese copy is also an option if you have an action replay cart or a modded Saturn. Since this is a puzzle game and an arcade game, there shouldn't be any language barrier. Alright folks, that's the end of this video. If you've enjoyed it, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.